Hello guys and welcome back. So let's go ahead and do our arm. To do that, I'm gonna actually use clay build up to draw some volume here first. Okay, just draw out some volume for the arm to grow out. Now this part is gonna be eventually becomes the deltoid, but we can actually make it something like an open a really small open wing, right? And then we can extrude our arm from that bottom. Okay. So what I can do here is masking out that area. Again, Control click to reverse it, and use Move. Alt click at the bottom of that face, then I can drag out the arms. Okay. Can also flatten these guys. Or actually, let me just move those guys downwards. Okay. And then also backwards. Alright, now clear the mask and then smooth everything out. Now here, of course, I don't quite like this shape. It's going up in a really straight way, right? I'm gonna make it go down a little bit and try to refine the shape of this deltoid. Just as usual, I will try to make this shape more like a tube before I move on to detail, and also have the proper poses. Okay, so let me draw some stroke around it to make it more like a tube. I feel this part is too flat, so I'm drawing some stroke to make it more rounded. Okay, the same thing goes here. Alright. Now after that, I'm gonna go ahead and start doing the poses. So what I can do is just masking like this. And then maybe Control click, right, to reverse the mask, use rotation, Alt click here, and then I can just rotate the arm forward to have a natural bending arm over here, and clear the mask, and then I can smooth that area. Alright, now I can really dig in and try to block in the details. Okay, so we have the basic structure there now. Make sure that the proportion looks good, and then you can start doing detail. So one of the things we do know is that we have the deltoid, right? It's going from the edge of the clavicle, right, and connected to the side of the arm. Okay. Here. Now this part is rounded, but it's also fairly square-like from the natural-looking pose. A relaxing pose. Okay, so I will try to maintain that sharp angle over there when I'm trying to sculpt that area. You can also separate the deltoid into 3 portions, one in the middle, that is the most prominent. Okay, and then you have smaller strands on the side. Okay, so something, you have a bigger chunk over here, have a smaller chunk on the side. Okay. And sometimes for muscular male character, you may end up with having those very visible, those 3 strands very visible. But for the female character, I don't really intend to make it that strong. Okay, so I can just have something over there, but that's not gonna be super visible by any means. And you have the scapula going beneath it. Okay. Alright. And oftentimes, if the muscle is really weak, you can actually have already seen the bone over here. So you can make this part bulging out towards the front. And this part can be pretty flat too if it's not very developed. Okay, something more like this. Alright. Now moving down, you have other structures on the arm, like the bicep. That's probably the first muscle you learn, right? It's like a capsule shape. And you have muscles, 2 strands of muscles on the side of the bicep, and you rotate back to the tricep on the back. So that's basically the structure here on the back, on the upper arm. Okay. But generally speaking, it can be as simple as this because of the, of the muscles are not developed, so you don't really need to make them that visible. And then moving down to the, oh, I think it's too thin here. Let me make it wider. I can do BIN. That's the inflate brush. I can use inflate to inflate the structure to make them a little bit wider. Right? I don't really want it to be that thin. Oops. Okay. Now here you can also try to figure out the correct connection, right? The muscle is going from the clavicle, and you have the other muscles going. Basically, the muscles going around it, like they're kind of like, you know, going like matching together nicely. So you have muscle like doing these, right? So just need to blend them together nicely. Okay, and you can make the deltoid a little bit more visible, and then the bicep, of course. Alright, and here you have the top edge of the clavicle. So sometimes that's also pretty visible. You can really see like a little bump here, right? Like the end of the bone structure, depending on again how thin your character is. Okay, and here you just have a little dip here, like a triangle shape, because the muscle is not quite matching nicely up there, and you have a little gap sometimes. Okay. So some of the subtle variations that you can do over there around that area. Okay. All right. Now moving down to the lower arm, what you can do is make it like a triangle shape first. Okay, and also the elbow, right? You can drag it out using move, right? You can drag this guy backwards. Okay, give it a sharp contour, and you can use stem standard to mark out where the elbow is, right? The elbow. Did I say clavicle? The elbow, right? This is the elbow over here. Anyway, and then you can fill in the volume around it. Alright, so when I look at it now, I think I'm making it still kind of like too thin. So let's see, from this distance I think the arm is too thin compared to the volume of the body. So let me try this. I can mask them all together. Control click to reverse that, control click on the mask to blur it, and then I can use scale to make them bigger, but not as long, so drag them backwards and then reposition them. Okay, so make some bigger adjustment to get the correct size. Okay, right, that feels better. And then I can just try to figure out the bigger contour. Basically speaking, you have a quite square-like upper arm. It's not having a lot of up and downs. Okay, something simple as it. And then for the bottom part, it's more like a triangle. And then it's having two bigger volumes, one over here, and another one on the other side. And generally speaking, this part will be bigger, but this part will be more sharp. Okay. All right. And you have muscles going from there forward. All right. So that's the basic structure of the arm. And then after this, we can move on to block in some more smaller muscle structures in the next video. Okay, see you next time.